Yo, what it do, man? It's your boy Turbo. We back with another episode, man. I know we've been gone for a little minute, but we back, man. We back to come talk about some of this action over the weekend. So make sure y'all already know. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on the video, and you know we're gonna dive right into it. So you already know. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on the video. So first thing first that we're gonna dive into, man. We're gonna dive into the college football playoffs. You already know. Number 5 Notre Dame took on number 4 Penn State. It was a real good game, back and forth. It was kind of closer than what I expected. I kind of expected Penn State to more dominate Notre Dame than what they did. Their defense definitely stepped up, made some plays, came over some turnovers, but ultimately Notre Dame they hung around, they stayed around, made plays when they needed to make plays. They came up with some turnovers of their own, and they came up with the ball late in the fourth quarter, was able to kick a go-ahead field goal to win 27-24, and now they on their way to the national championship game. So shout out to Notre Dame for handling business, and shout out to their head coach for being one of the first black head coaches to be in a national championship game. That's real big. I don't think enough people talking about it. They need to be talking about that just like they've been talking about Deion Sanders at Colorado. The same energy that they gave that, they should be giving that man at Notre Dame, because he had a hell of a year this year, only having one loss, and that came to NIU. And after that loss, everybody thought Notre Dame season was going downhill. After that, they turned it around that next week, and they've been having their foot on the gas all season. So big shouts out to Notre Dame. Uh, the next game we're gonna get into is number 6 Ohio State took on number 3 Texas. And as y'all already know, me personally, I had Texas winning it all, but I guess I was wrong. Ohio State, it proved me wrong. It really was a good game, back and forth game early on in the game, up until like the fourth quarter. And what really changed the game was that sack fumble Ohio State came up with. And not only did they come up with a sack fumble, they returned it for a touchdown. And after that, the momentum just really was shifted all to Ohio State. They got the ball again, ended up putting another score on the board to seal the game, and now they on their way to another national championship as well. A hard fought season from Texas. I just feel like that sack fumble is what really cost them the game, and after a play like that, it really just, like I said, changed the whole momentum of the game and took that momentum away from Texas that they was playing with. So shout out to Ohio State, because I ain't think they was gonna be able to do it. They knocked off Oregon, the number 1 team in the nation, turned around, knocked off Texas. So big shout out to Ohio State. It should be a real good game for the national championship. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. So also speaking about the college football national championship game. So like I said, you got the number 6 seed Ohio State taking on the number 5 seed Notre Dame. I expect it to be probably a good game, but ultimately, to be personally, I really don't think Notre Dame got the defense of secondary to match up with Ohio State wide receiver group. They real explosive. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. So speaking of playoffs, we got the NFL playoffs over the past weekend. It just went on. The wild card weekend was real exciting. The Texans blew out the Chargers 32-12. I really wasn't surprised. A lot of people were surprised, but that's what Justin Herbert do. He don't show up in playoff games. He hasn't shown up in no playoffs games. So it really wasn't no surprise of what he did. But CJ Stroud and the Texans definitely surprised me, because I thought with just them going out there with Nico Collins, I thought the Chargers was gonna have a better defensive plan, knowing how dangerous Nico Collins is, and knowing how CJ Stroud definitely was gonna be looking for him. They weren't able to stop him, and he came out with a good game. And then on top of that, Joe Mixon came up. He started running the ball well, started getting the ball moving with the run game, and ultimately after that, the Texans really just kept their foot on the gas. The defense started coming up with turnovers, and then once that started happening, man, in playoffs, it's really over with. It ain't the regular season. In the playoffs, when you start turning the ball over like how he did, four interceptions, one return for a touchdown, you really just shot yourself in the foot. So the Texans move on to the second round for the second year in a row. CJ Stroud gonna be going on to the second round, and this time it's gonna be a little twist on. He gonna be, instead of playing Lamar Jackson, he got to take on Pat Mahomes. We're gonna get more into that later on though. Another good game was the Steelers versus Baltimore, and this was a real good game, because everybody think the Steelers is just Lamar Jackson kryptonite or something, but that night it definitely didn't happen. him and Derrick Henry just looked unstoppable that night. Derrick Henry ran the ball well. Lamar Jackson ran the ball well, and he also threw the ball well. Also, another good game over the weekend was the Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. This was a real good game because everybody thought the Steelers was going to be able to stop Lamar Jackson, seeing how everybody think that the Steelers is his kryptonite or something. But it wasn't happening that night. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry both had a big good game. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson looked unstoppable. Lamar Jackson running in, passing the ball, finding Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely coming up big in the passing game. Rashad Bateman stepping up in the passing game also as well. And like I said, Derrick Henry had a monster game for himself as well too. Uh, Ultimately, if they continue to play like this, Baltimore can find themselves definitely in the Super Bowl this year, especially in that next round, they play how they played in this first round. But big shouts out to Lamar Jackson though. They started off the game hot, 21 and nothing. They just kept their foot on the gas. As far as the Steelers though, this another season where they just went out bad in the playoffs against a good team that was able to put up a lot of points against them, and they weren't able to really fight back. So we all gonna see what's gonna go on with the Steelers. Me personally, I really just think they really just need a quarterback at this point. You got a real nice defense. You got playmakers on offense. You just really need to go out there and find you a quarterback. Russell Wilson, not it. Justin Fields maybe can be it. You know, he was 4-2 before they benched him. Russell Wilson went 6-6 to finish the season. So man, I know it's just a lot of questions need to be answered in Pittsburgh. It's really just need a quarterback. You got a nice running back. Don't don't let Najee Harris go. He a consecutive 1,000-yard rusher. He come up big in the passing game. You got Pickens. You got Freiermuth. You know, you probably can add another receiver or something to help them out, but ultimately they're gonna find something to do. I don't think Mike Tomlin gonna lose his job or nothing like that. Even though you've been seeing a lot of coaches that's been losing their job, Mike McCarthy, a lot of people started losing their job, but I don't think that's gonna happen to Mike Tomlin. But we'll see though. Another good game, but a real disappointing game to me because I had the Broncos winning this game, but the Broncos took on the Bills, and the Bills really just dominated the Broncos, 31-7. Uh, Bo Nix really had no chance. The Buffalo Bills was all over him. They really dominated on the run game. James Cook had a career game, 120 yards rushing, on 23 carries. Josh Allen threw for 2 touchdowns, and the Bills really looked at real. They looked at real good against the Broncos. I thought the Broncos was gonna make a little bit of noise, put up some type of fight, but ultimately I think Cincinnati should have just had that spot. If you ask me, I feel like Cincinnati would have did a much better job competing with the Buffalo Bills and putting them on the ropes. But all in all, a good season from Bo Nix and from the Broncos, despite coming where they came from the last 2 seasons to make the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, and for him to put up them type of stats as a rookie quarterback was exciting to watch and got me excited for next season to see what the Denver Broncos going to do and how far his progression goes as far as Bo Nix. But a good game for sure for the Buffalo Bills, James Cook and Josh Allen going on to the next round again. The Packers took on Philly. Philly really just destroyed the Packers, 22-10. And I've been saying this all season. It's all about what kind of Jordan Love you're gonna get. And as of late, Jordan Love was playing well. He wasn't turning the ball over, but against Philly in this game, he turned the ball over 3 times. And like I said, in the playoffs, you turn the ball over like that, you're not gonna get too many opportunities to get a chance to get them chances back to score points, especially when a team like Philly they gonna capitalize off it. Jalen Hurts definitely did that. He didn't pass the ball for no bunch of yards. He only had 131 yards passing, but he had 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley over 100 yards rushing. So yeah, that's what really did for them. The turnovers really what killed the Packers in this game. They probably could have had a better chance if they ain't turned the ball over, but if that's all you can say. So Philly moving on to the next round. Commanders beat the Bucks 23-20. A real good game for Jaden Daniels. Once again, he come up in the clutch like he been doing in the regular season. He did it in his first game as a rookie in the playoffs against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense that's been a real solid defense all year. He came up big late in the fourth quarter with pick up that first down to get him a chance to kick the field goal to win that game. And man, Jaden Daniels, I feel like that just solidified him for the rookie of the year right there. Uh, he'd been having a tremendous campaign. I feel like his rookie season was better than C.J. Stroud rookie season, if you ask me. And for him to come up with a win in the playoffs like that in that type of environment, and to mention that he started the season losing to Tampa Bay and Tampa, so that was real big, and I feel like that was a confidence boost. So they got a little more swag and confidence going into Detroit. So we're gonna see about that. But big shouts out to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders for winning that game. Their first playoff game win since 2007, I think they said 7 or 5. You feel me? Y'all can look that up and quote me on that if I'm wrong or if I'm right. But a huge win for the Commanders, and big shouts out to Jaden Daniels, like I said though. Another good game was the Rams versus the Vikings, and like I said, if the Rams make the playoffs, the Rams are gonna be a team that nobody wants to see. But at the end of the day, the Vikings is who we thought they was. I said they was a good regular season team all year, but they was gonna get bounced out in the first round, and that's exactly what happened. But they lost to a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Kyron Williams came out and had a good game. Puka Kanua came out there and had a good game. And ultimately, they just couldn't get in their groove. They couldn't get their game plan going. The Rams defense was all over them all night, and they really stepped up and played real good. As of lately, the Rams defense they've been doing that, and Matthew Stafford been able to come up with plays and make throws that he needs to make to get the Rams in the position that they in right now. Because just mentioned they still was fighting for a playoff spot for them last 2 weeks of the season. So for them to get into the playoffs and dominate against the Vikings, who was 14-1, I mean 14-4, was real big, and a real huge win for the Rams going into the next round. So we're gonna see how that go. But all in all, leave a comment and let me know what y'all thought about the first round of the playoffs, the wild card games, and let me know who y'all thought really stood out and what stood out to most of y'all in each game. You already know we're gonna talk about. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on the video. So we got the divisional round of the playoffs coming up in the NFL. For the first game, we're gonna have the Texans taking on the Chiefs. I know last year the Texans took on the Baltimore Ravens in the second round of the playoffs, but they're gonna be taking on the Chiefs this time. And you already know I got my Chiefs winning this game against the Texans. I just feel like Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, they're gonna come out with a way better defensive game plan than the Chargers did, knowing that C.J. Stroud only got really one receiver to really work with, and they're gonna make them other receivers work, and also make Dalton Schultz work. He hasn't had the same season that he had last year, so I feel like they're gonna definitely make them other players work, and definitely gonna it's gonna come down to Joe Mixon. To me, if you really ask me, if you ask me, it's gonna come down to Joe Mixon and how well he able to run the ball. But like I said, I feel like the defense gonna step up. The offense back healthy. Isaiah Pacheco out there, Hollywood Brown out there, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelsey. Those guys rested up. D Hop, they all rested up, and I feel like they ready. They ready for the playoffs. They hungry. They ready to do this three-peat. Everybody still been talking down on them, even though they won the Super Bowl last year. You feel me? It's like they still being doubted, and I feel like uh they wearing that chip on their shoulder. Like for you to have a first round bye and you still to be an underdog is crazy. So look for the Kansas City Chiefs definitely come out with a chip on their shoulder and something to prove against the Texans, who just had a real good game in that first round. Another good game is going to be the Detroit Lions versus the Commanders. The Commanders, a good team, led Jaden Daniels leading his team to their first playoff win in almost a decade, and Detroit Lions, who've been playing real good football over the last couple of seasons, they looking like they finally found it and put it all together and on their way to a Super Bowl. But they gotta go through the Commanders. And one thing everybody been saying that Detroit's just gonna dominate the Commanders. So the Commanders shouldn't even be so happy that they won a playoff game. But to me personally, I think the Commanders gonna make it a real tough game on Detroit just because all season we've seen that the Commanders they've been able to make plays late in games to close gaps and make it close games to most of their games they was decided by a touchdown or less. So the defense definitely be stepping up, even though they don't got no real super big names like that. Defense stepping up. Jaden Daniels, like I said, he gonna make plays running the ball or throwing the ball. Him and Terry McLaurin. So look for that game to be a real good game. Don't just don't don't count the Commanders out right now just because rookie leading them. So definitely pay attention. The Rams gonna be taking on the Eagles. Me personally, I feel like that's gonna be a real good game, but I think the Rams gonna outlast the Eagles just because um, Matthew Stafford, a crafty veteran who still been around for a long time, a Super Bowl champion, and Jalen Hurts, he's still coming back from that injury game. Like I said, he had a decent game last game against the Packers, but Packers really kind of gave that game up with all the turnovers that he had. I don't think Matthew Stafford gonna be able to. He gonna turn the ball over like Jordan Love did, and that's what's gonna be. That's gonna be kind of the deciding factor. I feel like the Eagles gonna really have to put up points with the Rams to really make it an even game. And if the Eagles can't put up those points to match the Rams, then they're gonna be going home in that second round against a real good Rams team who've been running the ball good. And as a late Puka Kanu came back and Cooper Kupp, they both been exceptional coming back and helping Matthew Stafford big. And last but not least, the game that's probably going to be the biggest game is going to be Lamar Jackson taking on Josh Allen. Both players MVP candidates. Uh, both teams looking for a Super Bowl win or a Super Bowl, or at least making it to the Super Bowl. And I just feel like that's going to be a real good game. You got two good quarterbacks going at it. Two good running backs, James Cook and Derrick Henry going at it. Some people not too many known like that on offense as far as receivers and tight end wise, but hopefully Zay Flowers playing this game. Me personally, I think Zay Flowers will be the X factor in this game if he plays against the Buffalo Bills. I feel like he's gonna be that X factor, and that's gonna be the reason why they'll be able to beat the Buffalo Bills. But if he doesn't play, I feel like it's gonna be a little bit harder to beat the Buffalo Bills with what they got. But ultimately, we're gonna find out and see. But it's not going to be no pushover game for the Ravens just because, Josh Allen going to go out there and leave it all on the line for his team. James Cook been running the ball real good all season, matching O.J. Simpson for the most touchdowns in franchise history. They got some real good slot receivers that's gonna come out and ball. Curtis Samuel finally made his presence felt after coming from Washington in that trade. So like I said, it ain't gonna be no pushover game, but it's definitely gonna be the biggest game of the divisional round. So make sure y'all tune in to that game because I'm gonna definitely tune into that game. So you already know though. Make sure y'all leave a comment and let me know what y'all thinking about these divisional round games. Who y'all got winning these games, and ultimately just what y'all think. Ultimately, what y'all think about all these games. And you already know we're gonna talk about it on the show. But you already know, man, this was another episode of Great Conversation and Guests, man. It's your boy Turbo. Remember to add me on Instagram at DMG Turbo. Also add me on Facebook for y'all that got Facebook at John Morant. Make sure y'all add my boy behind the lens, Taj_Miller on Instagram. And you already know, y'all keep rocking with the show. We're gonna keep dropping this shit.